They called themselves glorious amateurs, librarians, linguists, chemists, even baseball players. But these unlikely operatives formed the backbone of America's first spy agency, the Office of Strategic Services. From sabotaging Nazi supply lines to infiltrating enemy strongholds, their missions were as daring as they were secret. Today, we uncovered 10 of the OSS's most astonishing operations. Stories so bold, they sound like fiction. The Ghost Diplomat. Fritz Kolbe, a career diplomat in Nazi Germany's Foreign Office, risked his life to provide the Allies with vital intelligence, making him one of the most significant yet underappreciated figures of World War II. Operating under the codename George Wood, Kolbe smuggled over 1,600 classified documents out of Berlin and into the hands of the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in Switzerland. These documents included detailed reports on German troop movements, information about the secret V-weapon program, and the activities of the Nazi High Command. Kolbe's intelligence was so valuable that Alan Dulles, the OSS station chief in Bern, described him as the best spy of the war. Kolbe's information allowed the Allies to anticipate German military strategies, disrupting Nazi operations and saving countless lives on the front lines. His reports directly influenced Allied campaigns in North Africa, Italy, and France, including preparations for the D-Day invasion. Despite these extraordinary contributions, Kolbe's post-war life was marked by rejection. In Germany, he was vilified as a traitor, not a patriot. His efforts to expose the horrors of the Nazi regime and protect humanity were overshadowed by the stigma of betrayal. Kolbe's case stands as a stark reminder of the complex moral choices faced by those who resisted from within, and the thankless aftermath they often endured. The Maier Group's sacrifice. In Nazi-occupied Austria, the Maier Group, led by Catholic priest Heinrich Maier, formed one of the most daring and tragic resistance cells of the war. Maier and his network secretly collaborated with the OSS, providing critical intelligence on German arms production. Their sources included detailed blueprints of the V-2 rocket, the Messerschmitt Me-262 jet fighter, and facilities manufacturing nerve gas. This intelligence allowed the Allies to conduct precise bombing raids, crippling German war production. The Maier Group's efforts also included passing on reports about the Holocaust, early warnings about the systematic extermination of Jews, which they hoped would galvanize Allied intervention. Yet the Maier Group's bold resistance came at a high cost. Betrayed by a double agent, they were arrested by the Gestapo and subjected to a brutal show trial at the Nazi People's Court. Heinrich Maier and most of his comrades were executed in 1945, their sacrifice largely unrecognized for decades. Today, the Maier Group stands as a symbol of moral courage in the face of totalitarian terror. Operation Cornflakes. Propaganda via post. The OSS's ingenuity in psychological warfare reached its peak in Operation Cornflakes, a plan that used the German postal system as a weapon against Nazi morale. The operation began by bombing German mail trains to create an opening for propaganda infiltration. Allied planes then dropped fake mailbags filled with anti-Nazi letters, complete with forged stamps and postmarks, among the wreckage. Unwitting postal workers, unaware of the deception, collected and delivered these letters across the Reich. The propaganda included anti-Hitler pamphlets, fabricated news stories highlighting Allied victories, and materials exposing Nazi atrocities. By delivering these messages directly into German homes, Operation Cornflakes bypassed state censorship and sowed seeds of doubt and dissent among the populace. Though the campaign's scale was limited, it demonstrated the creative lengths to which the Allies, and particularly the OSS, went in the psychological struggle against the Nazi regime. This operation stands as a testament to the power of subversive information in warfare, a weapon as potent as bombs or bullets. The OSS was not merely a traditional intelligence agency. It was also a hub of innovation, pushing the boundaries of unconventional warfare. Under the direction of chemist Stanley Lovell, the so-called Dirty Tricks Department devised a wide range of gadgets and weapons that blurred the line between science fiction and reality. Exploding pens, invisible inks, and disguised radio transmitters were among their more practical tools. But some ideas veered into the bizarre, most infamously the bat bomb, an incendiary device strapped to bats intended to ignite Japanese cities by roosting in buildings. While some concepts never saw the battlefield, the OSS's willingness to explore unconventional tactics demonstrated their commitment to psychological warfare and sabotage. This spirit of innovation would influence later intelligence and military operations, setting a precedent for blending science with strategy. The Jedburgh Teams. As the Allies prepared for the Normandy invasion, the OSS worked closely with the British Special Operations Executive, SOE, to form Jedburgh Teams, small elite units of American, British, and Free French operatives. These teams parachuted into Nazi-occupied France, often deep behind enemy lines, to coordinate with local resistance groups. Their mission: to sabotage German communications, rail lines, and supply depots, thereby slowing the Wehrmacht's ability to respond to the D-Day landings. The Jedburghs faced enormous risks, operating with minimal supplies and relying on the goodwill of resistance fighters. One Jedburgh veteran later recalled, "We were the tip of the spear, striking deep behind enemy lines. Their efforts were instrumental in disrupting German defenses and bolstering the French resistance, contributing to the overall success of the Allied invasion." Operation Sauerkraut. The OSS's psychological warfare capabilities extended to a bold experiment: Operation Sauerkraut. A plan involved recruiting German prisoners of war, men disillusioned with the Nazi regime, and training them to act as infiltrators and propagandists. These POWs were outfitted in German uniforms and sent back across enemy lines to spread rumors, distribute forged documents, and sow confusion among Wehrmacht troops. Operation Sauerkraut capitalized on the turmoil following the failed assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler in July 1944, exploiting a fractured Nazi leadership and growing internal dissent. Though a risky operation, Sauerkraut demonstrated the OSS's willingness to weaponize disinformation, using psychological tactics to erode German morale and destabilize enemy forces from within. The Deer Team. In the waning months of World War II, the OSS formed the Deer Team, a unit tasked with aiding Ho Chi Minh's Viet Minh guerrillas in their fight against Japanese occupation forces in Indochina. The Deer Team provided training in guerrilla tactics, weapons, and communications, while also supplying medical aid and logistical support. This temporary alliance between the OSS and the Viet Minh underscored the shifting dynamics of global power as the war's end approached. While the Deer Team's assistance helped the Viet Minh resist Japanese control, it also laid the foundation for the complex, often adversarial relationship that would later develop between the United States and Vietnam. One OSS officer remarked, "We found in the Viet Minh a determined ally against the Japanese, but this cooperation would become a footnote in a much larger and more contentious history." Imagine the rustle of forged letters falling into German mailboxes, the silent glide of a frogman beneath enemy ships, the whispered secrets passed in Istanbul's shadowy alleys. These are the sounds of the OSS at work, innovative, audacious, and often unrecognized. From the heart of Europe to the jungles of Asia, their legacy lives on in today's intelligence agencies. If these stories intrigued you, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. There's always more to uncover in the world of espionage.